All right, so today on this episode of Cruising with Kyle, we are going to be installing risers on my Scout bobber from Dean Speed, the Pic-Rail Risers to be exact. Now you're probably thinking, risers on a Scout? I didn't think that was possible. Well, it is now, because HellBend makes a adapter for risers. So a little bit about these risers. They are 10 inches. The adapter adds 1 inch, and I have the Bitwell tracker low bars on here, which I think is like 2 inches. The risers have pullback slightly. I don't know if you can tell, but I'll throw in some glamour shots of these. So things you're gonna be needing to do this install when you have that rise on your bars is you're gonna need a new front brake line, new clutch cables, and extended wiring for your controls going down to your headlight. Now, it might look like I've taken the bike apart already. I haven't. All I've done was take off the seat, I took the battery out, and I unplugged the cables going to my controls into my headlight just so I could see what I'm doing. The biggest issue for me is the front brake line can disconnect underneath the gas tank, and you can just replace the cable going up to the master cylinder on top. But the problem is, when I ordered this cable from Dean Speed, I thought, oh, I'll just, get this part and I'll unscrew it and I'll thread it on. Not that simple. Because this is ABS, I'm going to have to take this all the way down to the ABS system down here to the banjo bolt there, because the brake line goes from your handlebars down to your ABS system to your caliper in the front. So I'm gonna have to replace this whole thing instead of just replacing from the handlebars to the connection underneath the tank. Now, I've looked online, I've tried my best to find out what needs to be done to get to the ABS system. That's why I took my battery out. It's a pain in the ass, apparently. And after messing with it a little bit, I'm dreading that part. So I'm probably gonna be doing the brake line last. I think the first thing I'm gonna get to is taking off the tank so I can kind of see what I'm working with, then getting everything off the handlebars I have on there now, getting the bars and the adapter on there, and then kind of working from there. I'll probably go to the headlight and stuff first. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it and try our best with this one. Now, the tank is pretty simple to take off. We're just gonna undo these 4 bolts. I kind of already got them loosened. After you get those 4 bolts removed, you're gonna wanna undo these 2 plugs. They just pop right in there, so it's pretty simple. When you get that, find something that you can prop your tank up with just a little bit. Like so. Then we're gonna go in here and this is your fuel line. You're gonna press 2 buttons on the side, undo that, and then there is a electrical connect. Let's see if I can get this. There's an electrical connect right here that you're going to unplug. A little bit of fuel might drip out, so it'd help to have a little rag handy. All right, got the electrical removed. Tank should be ready to come off. Ooh, all right, tank's off. All right, so now that I got the tank off, I'm gonna switch gears and I'm gonna go over and work on the electrical. I'm gonna leave my bars on so I can work on these kind of like, it's holding it. It'll make it a little easier. You wanna take the wires that are going from your controls, pull those out from inside your headlight. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the connectors off of each of these. The wire extension kit, everything comes pinned already, and they come rubber band into the groups you need. So separate your wiring by the number of wires. You'll be able to tell which ones you actually need, because there's 3, let's see if you see this, 3 separate wires. So you want to find the wire with the corresponding colors, like these 2. Simple, strip them back and put them together. Now, It says to solder them. I don't have this stuff for soldering, but I do have these butt connectors. They're like heat shrink butt connectors. You put them in, crimp them, heat shrink them. Should work the same. So now it's just strip them back, crimp them, heat shrink them. All right, so the two are done on the right side of the bike. Just time consuming, super easy. I'm gonna wait to put the black heat shrink on, make sure everything works and stuff, and on to the next side with this one. I'm gonna slip all the wires through this heat shrink here. It'll be a tight fit. Plug in all your clips into here. They give you a color-coded guide for it, or if you want, I'm probably just gonna look at the ones I cut off. You could take the pins out of this and put them into this, but put new stuff on, just put all the new stuff on, you know? All right. Bars are off. All right, I'm gonna unplug this USB port from inside the headlight. Better location so y'all can see. There we go. All right, speedo's off. Undo these 220 screws on the back of the speedometer. There we go. Take our bar setup. Pop that speedo in there. All right, we're gonna try to plug this guy in. Should be right about there. All right. The risers need to be on the adapter when you put it on because they screw in from where you place it on the handlebars. Using my internal torque gauge right now. Nice, nice. I'm liking the look of it so far. Looks good. So I think now I'm gonna work on getting the controls on the clutch side, on the left side, and then we'll go from there. Now with these bars, I went ahead and pre-drilled the little pin for the controls on the Indians. That's kind of my biggest gripe with Indian is they are 7/8 controls and throttle, and every other bar is, you know, a 1-inch. So like, let me grab these real quick. With like the Dean Speed Titus bars, they go from 1 inch and then they taper down right here to a 7/8 to accommodate for Indian, and they pre-drill the holes that the pin sets in for your controls. I went ahead and had to get 7/8 bars completely, 7/8 bars, and I just drilled them myself. So kind of a gripe with finding bars for Indians because finding a 7/8 bar that is, you know, kind of hard to come by, I guess. Not hard to come by, but you don't see a lot of them, you know. All right, I'm just gonna give it a rough idea of where it's at right there. Now I'm gonna take out the old clutch. Now, taking out the old clutch, just kind of running it backwards. Got a couple zip ties I need to cut. All right, now time to take the bar neck clutch cable and route it just like the other one. This cable is definitely thicker than the last one. This. All right, now that the clutch is good to go, I'm gonna run my wiring down to my headlight through the risers, and there's a little cutout and HellBend adapter. pull this over here and show you. So, wired it through the inside. I'm gonna zip tie it right here. There's a little cutout right here. Run it down into the headlight. All right, so it's a week later. I had to wait for this to get in. It's a different front brake line because the one I had went to the ABS system, and I tried to get down there and get to the banjo bolts there. Such a pain in the ass. I don't advise doing it. And I quit halfway through straight up and just gave up. So I found this with this fitting on the end of it. That goes to the disconnect underneath your tank straight to your master cylinder. 100 times easier if you have a 2018 or newer, I believe it is what it is, that has this disconnect on the scalp bobber. I got it from Indian Only Motorcycles. It's a +6 length. I will put the link in the description to get this, and so you can also save time if you're redoing your front brakes. So we're gonna get this thing on. I'm going to bleed the brakes, and we should be good to put everything back on the bike. So let's do that. Okay, so here is the disconnect on the left side of your bike, and we're gonna take the line, just thread it in there. All right, get it nice and snug. Run it up through here. All right, get the bolt on there with the washers on both ends. And then okay, so I got everything wired up. I got the cable running down through here, round out. It's a little longer than I expected, but I'm gonna be able to zip tie a lot of this up and fix the clutterness of it. I tested the bars both ways, rotating it, so it's fine running through there. Gonna zip tie a couple more things, and then we're gonna bleed them. Now, you're gonna wanna cover your bike up pretty good, because if you get any brake fluid on anything, it's coming right off, paint, all that. Brake fluid for my bike, .4, read your master cylinder cap to make sure what type of brake fluid your bike takes. Now, I poked 2 little holes like that so I can drain it in there easily without making a big mess. And it's already making a big mess. Go ahead and put the cap back on so it doesn't spurt out when you start pumping the fluid through. Pressurize the lever. Crack the valve. Close it. Pressurize it on the lever. Crack the valve open. Close it. All right, so I think I got a pretty clean line of fluid, no air bubbles. Now it's time to put it all back together and see if the brakes work, really. And if they don't, start all over and do it again. But let's put the bike together. All right, bike is fully put together. Time to go give it a test ride. Really worried about these brakes, but we'll see how those do. They feel pretty good, they feel pressurized, so let's take it for a cruise, test out these risers and see if everything works. Well, she stops, so the brakes feel like they're working. Man, this clutch feels so much smoother. Barnett clutch cable. The pull on it is almost effortless. The increase in rise and the pullback of the bars helps my reach so much. It's like you don't really understand how uncomfortable your current setup is until you fix it a little bit. I'm basically like perpendicular with the bike with my upper body. No leaning or anything. And my bike stops, which is good, because first time bleeding the brakes, I was a little hesitant on my capabilities with doing that. But once I got the hang of it and started getting pressure back in the lever, I got less worried. So, and they work, which is all I really care about. It was a lot of work for just, you know, some risers and some bars, but I am so glad I did it. But I recommend no matter where your bars are at or anything, get a new clutch cable if you are riding the stock clutch cable. This Barnett clutch cable is so freaking easy to pull. Alright guys, well that about wraps it up for this video. I am super stoked on this setup. If you're thinking about doing this, I highly recommend it. If you guys enjoyed this, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. That'll be much appreciated. And I got another mod I'm putting on my bike next. It's the one I've been putting off for a long time, but I finally shelled out the money to do it. So keep an eye out for that, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.